Alrighty folks, welcome to Good Works Tractors. Got a fun one for you. We were able to blow some snow, well, we pushed some snow too, over the Thanksgiving holiday. We were actually flying back from vacation on Thanksgiving, and we had family coming over the day after, and that is when we got our first, well, I guess our first for us, significant snow of the year. There was some snow while we were gone, and it wasn't a ton of snow. There was probably 6 to 8 inches on the ground, like on the grass, the dirt, but the paved surfaces, the concrete, it was more like 3 to 5 inches depending on the area. But it had to be cleared off. It was the type of snow that is very wet and heavy, and it was melting underneath and then freezing, and so we ended up over the weekend, while we were shooting this video, there was a propane truck that came in and had a really hard time coming up the driveway. He was slipping and sliding. We had a couple of other folks over the weekend that were also slipping and sliding. We had to help actually get one of them unstuck out of our driveway. So not a ton of snow, but the kind of snow that caused problems. We had to get it out of there. And plus, I don't need much of an excuse this time of year. Talk to me in the spring and, well, late winter, early spring, in February, March, maybe early April, and man, I am tired of snow. I'm tired of the cold. But this time of year, I love it. I'm having a blast dealing with snow. I love every chance I can get. And we have a new tool. This is the performance type snowblower from MK Martin. Just came out over the summer. This is our first year using it. Of course, this is the first time using it here. Now we have the Tyvar edge on the bottom, Tyvar runners. We've got the hydraulic chute control, hydraulic deflector. You don't need a hydraulic backdrag like the old school the old school MK Martin blowers, the pull types. This one has an integrated. They shifted the auger back to the very back of the housing there. They extended the back of the housing and shoved it way back there. So you can get right up to walls, to parked cars, retaining walls, garage doors, all that kind of stuff, and clear the snow away if you need to. So in this video, you're seeing me kind of putting it to work. First time using a blower on this Kioti. That's my DK6010, great fit. It's a 72-inch blower on there. I could probably get by with a bigger blower, but it covers the tracks and then maybe just an inch or two on the outside as well. Took care of that parking pad there back by the garage in 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes, something like that, piece of cake. So here, I wasn't sure. I told Chris, we're just gonna give this a pass or two and see how this works on the gravel driveway. This is our limestone crushed gravel driveway, and it actually ended up working really well, which was a surprise and something I'm grateful for because now I can use this all winter. You'll see here in the beginning, I do scoop some gravel, and I do that on occasion throughout here. When you're on the long flat stretches, it handles it perfectly. You can use your hydraulic top link or your manual top link. I have a hydraulic, so it makes it super easy. And I'm rocking that blower way back, so it's just riding on the rear edge, and it doesn't really want to sink down. And so I'm not lowering the 3-point the whole way either. I'm just lowering it down far enough to make contact and ride along. And you'll see most of this time here, you're just seeing a little bit of that gravel peeking through, and that's about as good as you're gonna get on the gravel driveway right there. Super impressive. On occasion you hear rocks flying out, but not a whole lot. Now it does help, and again, this is to reiterate how I've kind of transitioned away, whether it's with a blower or a pusher, but transitioned away from getting a big crown, that big hump in my driveway. I've flattened most of that out. I've left enough in there so water won't pool on it and it'll still run away. But I've taken most of that crown out and made it pretty flat because it really helps for clearing snow like this, and even grading. It does really help just to make it a nice flat surface all the way across. And this is, again, wet, heavy snow. It's still blowing at maybe 30-ish feet. If it's a little bit drier, lighter, it'll do better. But right here, you can see when you transition, like go from a flat area here and then kind of go down an incline or up a hill, one way or the other. That's when you start to catch the gravel, and you got to make adjustments on that. Here, I wish we would have got it on video. It was actually flinging some gravel way into the ponds out there. It was kind of fun. Oh, and you can see if you just missed it there, rewind. There was well, we just saw it again there, actually. There was an extension cord for some Christmas lights going across the gravel driveway that was underneath the snow. That could have been a mess. So I'm thankful that didn't go hairy on me. This was a real joy. It's a joy to watch it. I love watching videos like this, but it was a joy to use it. It was so easy. In a little bit here, you're going to see, you know, the biggest negative that you hear about a pull type blower is that you're driving over the snow before you're clearing it out of the way. Not a big deal. And so on the gravel, of course, no issue at all. You're going to leave some snow there anyways. You might have noticed back on the concrete pad by the barn, traces of snow were left, but not enough to worry about, in my opinion. We're going to tackle our asphalt driveway coming up in just a moment here too, and you'll be able to see that as well when you're driving over the snow and then scraping it along and scooping it up. It's really not a big deal. Another look at the gravel or the concrete pad. You really can't even see any tire tracks on there with packed snow at all. I mean, it's almost non-existent. Folks, we are proud to be sponsored by RimGuard Solutions, a liquid ballast weight. It goes right inside your tires, completely hidden. Not only is it going to help with safety, keeping those rear tires planted on the ground, it helps with loader efficiency and traction too. The benefits of RimGuard include being the heaviest all-natural liquid ballast weight on the market. It's not going to corrode your rims like the old calcium chloride. It's not going to freeze, and it's available at over 1,000 dealers nationwide. Find the dealer near you at rimguardsolutions.com. So yeah, this is where things got interesting. It doesn't look like a lot of snow on there, and you can see it's because it was melting down, and this is where a snowblower struggles. Okay, so I wanted to use a snowblower the entire time, this entire video. And to be honest, it's a lot of fun. It's the most expensive tool that we have, well, except for maybe a snow wing. Those are pretty pricey as well, but we got lucky there with that lamp. Looking at that now, I could have smoked some glass out of there. You can see though, the snow's not blowing very far. That's because it's so wet and heavy, and you're gonna see what happens here in just a minute. It's clogging it up. It's clogging the chute up. It's just really struggling, and this is one of the drawbacks of the blower and why I couldn't have only a snow blower. And if I am gonna pick just one tool, I pick a snow pusher. And so that's what you're gonna see happen here is we switch over to the snow pusher in the front in just a second. And last year, that pusher on the front right there is the only thing I used. That exact setup, I cleared all of my asphalt driveway, my concrete parking pad by the barn, all the gravel drive. I used that one tool for all my snow removal all of last year. That was all I needed. But I like to try new things, and I do love snow blowers, and it's great ballast weight too for using the pusher, but an expensive ballast weight, no doubt. So it's pusher time, baby. So here you go. Again, pushers don't care. They don't care if it's wet and heavy snow. They don't care if it's 2 inches or 12 inches. They don't care if you're cleaning it up or if you're, stacking it up. I mean, you can do whatever you need to with the pusher. There's no hoses that are going to leak on you, no chutes to clog, no shear bolts that are going to break, no extra connections, right? You just put it on the end of your loader just like you would your bucket, pallet forks, a grapple, anything else. And so that's the nice thing too with the snowblower. On the front, you're really committing yourself to the snowblower for a while. It's a pain to switch back and forth. You gotta take your loader off, put the whole front mount on, hook up the snowblower, the PTO shaft, all the hydraulic connections. If you need to use your loader for something in the winter, well, that's a chore. Just swap it over to the loader and then swap it back over to the blower. You can see where I'm going with that. So I like to push snow way back. You never know, the snow maybe all melts away before we get more, but I like to push that snow back as far as I can. I've learned my lesson enough times that it'll freeze up wherever it's at, and then you can't push it any further, and then you run out of space. So I push that snow back as far as I can from the beginning of the season. I did screw up here though, right where that's at, right by that spruce tree. My kids were like, "Dad, why didn't you stack up the snow there?" They like to have a little extra ramp for going down the hill. So we have more snow coming, actually another 10 inches, they said tonight. So I'll have an opportunity to do that tomorrow. They're banking on a snow day, I can tell you that. I had something right on the edge, right where we just drove over there on the edge of the driveway. A few spots had some really bad drainage, well, water runoff issue this summer, making ruts and washing out everything along the that whole curved area and sloping area of the driveway. So they call them Grand Rapids curbs or something like that, some goofy name, I don't know what it was, but they put a lip basically on the edge of the driveway in a few areas. I forgot it was there. I actually smoked it, chipped off a little bit of asphalt there. But I would tell you, if you are thinking about putting in a circle driveway, don't. It is an absolute pain to deal with snow removal. I've used the pusher, I've used blowers, I've used plows, I've used, well, I guess rear blades. I've used all the tools that there are, and they're all a pain. It's just dealing with snow on a curved driveway is just a challenge. It's not fun. It's great the rest of the year, but I hate this part of clearing my driveway every time I do it. I can't stand it. There's no good way. I mean, I've tried every which way there is. I've tried all those different tools, front mount, rear mount, different things, and it's no fun. I just try to get it over with. Good looking picture though. I do like that. Oh, looking at this now, realizing I didn't take my fountain, you know, my spraying fountain out of the little circle fountain there. Boy, I'm gonna do that if it thaws out. See how slippery it is. It's so slippery. So again, some folks like a snow plow for a long drive like this. I really think a pusher is where it's at. I have, well, you know, one of my favorite setups I had though was an X739, a John Deere X739. It was 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel steer, little garden tractor, and that thing was a blast. That was a lot of fun to use. Very maneuverable, very quick, but it left windrows. Unless you take like less than half of a plow width, you're going to wind up with a windrow on the outside. So whether you're using a pusher or a plow, you still get the windrows. And with a pusher, the cleanup passes on a windrow are so much faster because it's like a box, right? It's trapping that snow in there. And the amount of snow, the volume of it on a windrow isn't very much. And so you're generally not going to overflow the pusher, the box again on there. So here I am just clearing up some area for the garbage cans. You'll see I really didn't push that snow into the road. That's a big no-no. You don't want to do that. It's against the law in a lot of states too, but keep that snow at the end of the driveway and then tackle it from the side and push it off. You don't want to impede traffic or anything else that could cause an accident. This is that cleanup pass for the long main stretch. Then we're just down to our last section here. It's a lot of driveway. It's a lot of area. I think it's around 2,000 feet, linear feet. You know, and of course, there's the big pad out there, parking pad by the barn, and then a big pad up here by the garage too that increases that. So with concrete, asphalt, gravel, we're dealing with it all. So it works out well to be able to test a lot of different tools and edges, you know, whether you need steel or UHMW or rubber. You know, I can try them all. I can see them how they work on different surfaces, different conditions. You know, I mean, gravel will freeze up if we get into the heart of winter here. It'll freeze up really solid where pretty much any edge rides along the top, as long as you're not digging down in it. But you know, early season, late season, when things aren't frozen, you got to be a lot more careful that way too. Can't say enough good things about the Kioti either. Like most cab tractors, you struggle with some fog, like you can see there in the windows. So you play around with the thermostat a bit. This one has the rear defrost, which I think is the most important. The front windshield doesn't really fog up, and the rear with the rear defrost doesn't fog up. It's those side windows. Every once in a while I take my sweatshirt sleeve and rub something down there. If you heat it up the inside of the cab too much, I mean, you got to go to the beach, basically. You got to put a pair of shorts on and a tank top, because it gets so hot in there. So I try to find that happy medium and power through. That's about the only downside I could say about a cab, whether it's been the Kioti, Kubota, John Deere, and I've had them all. Well, folks, hope you enjoyed it. Again, first time you guys are seeing me clear snow with that Kioti, and first time using that performance snowblower from MK Martin. We are a dealer for all sorts of tractor attachments. We pack and ship them all over the country every day of the week. That's what we do. We sell used tractors as well, so if you're in the market for one of those, nice clean machines, very low hours, we can spec them out, oftentimes however you need them. So we can put together an entire package for you too. You can find out more information on what we have to offer at goodworkstractors.com. And on that note, I want to thank you for stopping by, and until next time, stay safe. We'll see you soon.